Alright. Should we do the React content now, guys? I don't blame you, Teddy. Get some sleep. Thank you for playing Warframe with me, guys! Blah. Blah. What am I reacting to? Right. This is gonna be Pathfinders? I mean, Path of Exile? Which apparently I gotta play the entire story by myself this time, because... Let me get on React for this. Apparently I have to play this again by myself. Because everyone in the comments last time was so triggered that I had a friend with me. And they weren't even really carrying me. I did enough damage to one-shot stuff too. I was just playing around with the new tornado build. Can't a dragon have fun? Chat? Anyone? Comment section? This is why I say frick you, YouTube. Frick you. We're gonna be watching Path of Exile.
Wouldn't the microwave team be a bunch of Corvexes?
I mean, maybe.
Rayclast is a cursed land. You'd have to be mad to settle here. And yet, welcome to King's March. It's not much yet, but with your help, we can erect the greatest city Rayclast has ever seen. We'll need resources and savvy planning. Soon we'll attract settlers, craftsmen, fortune seekers.
Playing WoP with friends? Zizaran already talked about this. WoP players don't have friends.
Well, it's more chat. I was playing with chat.
If we prevail, our ships will be heavy with gold. We hope to achieve the impossible. We hope to build a home.
So is this like... like that? Okay. Gladiator! What can they do now? Melee rebalance. So we gotta play our melee build now. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Catchy, of course. What do you mean? Isn't the cute, Teddy? Freak you. Well, that was that. All right, let's see what else we need to react to today. Oh, wait, is the second one?
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from...
Ah!
Adorable.
What do you mean, adorable? I don't know what you're talking about.
From Grinding Gear Games.
All right.
Welcome to GGG Live.
This is...
Today, we're going to show you an
we are watching Shadows of Kalguur, the content reveal episode next time. Obviously from Path of Exile as well. I'm gonna figure out what happened with that gladiator.
Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur,
Because I'm
which launches next week
interested.
on July 26th.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Corsair back attachment. In
I
today's
missed
stream,
that.
we'll
Did
take
I
you on
miss
a
that?
deep dive into the
I have to look. Wait. Damn. Why didn't you tell me about this one?
new Settlers of Kalguur.
It's a pirate pack. I wanted
We'll
that.
cover the league mechanics, its new and revised crafting systems, a new trade market system for currency, some sweeping balance improvements including 2 Ascendancy class changes, endgame improvements, some further additions to the campaign, and some quality of life features. We'll then talk about our console.
By quality of life, please tell me they mean either easier to get uniques for builds, or like a way to skip certain parts of the story mode. That way I don't get shouted out as much if I have chat play with me. Because I'm going to forget that I'm supposed to do it solo again. I know I am.
Port releases and the features that come alongside them. Finally, we'll show you our new supporter packs, ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game director, Mark, your questions from Twitch chat. After the livestream, we'll drop the full patch notes. I'll hand over to Mark now to introduce the new league.
We've really innovated with the content in this league, and I'm really excited to see what everyone...
Much yet. But with your help, we can erect the greatest city Rayclast has possible. We hope to build a home.
Oh, it's going to be on July 26th. Okay. Wait. Are we getting the pirate drop on the 26th? Or was it
How
yesterday?
many grumpy butts were there? If it's only one, don't listen and just have fun.
It was more than one. Give me a sec.
And they've got great research on this. In this case, I wrote a...
I don't know you. Check the description.
Kinda surprised Bokka is this fired up to get back into Path.
I like it. I just needed a break from those games for a bit. Dang it! I wanted it, and it was only for one day at midnight? I cry. I cry.
In
Cry
the
tears of
Exile
pain.
Settlers of Kalguur, you will encounter some familiar faces from the Expedition League. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin are Kalguuran people who are trying to establish trade between Rayclast and their homeland. They have recruited many curious characters from Rayclast, including some you may recognize. but are also seeking help of a powerful exile, like yourself. You will first encounter Johann, the King's Hand and Lionized Watch. He's there recruiting workers, traders, and exiles. Johann, under the command of the King of Kalguur, has been sent here to build a new city.
I'm
called
not turning on
King's
Twitch light
March,
mode. I
which intends
refuse.
to become the hub of commerce between
But hi,
Raycross
Mobs. How are you
and
doing?
Kalguur. Soon, he will bring you to the planned site for King's March, which you'll notice has humble beginnings as just a tavern in a field. But with your help, it won't stay like this for long. It takes a lot to build a town. The Kalgurans will ask
We'll
you
get
to
some
seek
sleep.
out resources
Get some
that can be
sleep,
used
Mobs.
to begin construction. On your adventures, you might find minerals such as crimson iron, which are veins of iron that have been overrun with corruption, spawning dangerous foes when you approach. Or perhaps orichalcum, which you will have to liberate from the demons worshipping it. Petrified amber attracts minor.
Did he just say orichalcum? I would think gods worship orichalcum. Because isn't it like a holy attributed kinda. A lot of very good swords are made out of orichalcum. Not a lot of demonic swords I know are made out of orichalcum.
Blighted enemies. While bismuth has a strong affinity to the elements and causes the area to become unstable.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
If you're lucky, you might find vericium, a material as valuable as it is dangerous, and guarded by very powerful foes. Once you defeat these monsters, the deposit will automatically be tagged for mining. But first, we need to get someone to do the hard labor.
Baka finally gets to
This
build
is, of
Irish
course, a
Tavern.
trade
Irish Tavern! Yay.
expedition, and nothing is free. Miners, along with other workers that the Kalgurans have hired, must be paid in cold hard gold, which you'll notice is now dropping throughout Rayclast. You will have control about who gets hired into your enterprise. Once you have accumulated some gold, head to the town and talk to the recruiter, Rolf. He's been busy tracking down hardy folk across Rayclast who are looking for work. You'll notice each person has their specialties and a wage cost. It'll be up to you to hire and fire as you please. Over the course of the league, you'll be searching for your perfect employees for each job. Once you have them, you'll have to keep them paid, safe, and alive, which we'll get into later. Here we have a prospect.
I swear to God, if it's a NPC escort mission, I swear to God.
Who has a specialty in mining.
I swear to all that is holy and great.
We'll start with that so
And demonic.
we can begin to retrieve some of those resources we were talking about earlier.
Resources.
Let's go find some more and put our miner to use.
So... My brain stopped for a second. So we're, was it the gladiator that was throwing those, like, blood slashes earlier? I think that's what I want to go for. It's like
we found a vein
gladiator.
of orichalcum ore.
Of course
guarded
it's
by
orichalcum.
dangerous demons worshipping a strange shrine.
Full
The
video
shrine
of the
buffs
screen.
The demons, giving them power.
Well,
But
fine.
once you defeat them, you can seize that power for yourself. After that, we can tag the ore, and our mining specialist will get to work. Soon, we encounter a few more deposits, each with a different dangerous encounter. After you have tagged the mineral veins, your miners will get to work collecting resources in real time. They might take a while, but will continue whether you are logged in or not. The work can be sped up by hiring more or better miners, and by upgrading the mining station back in King's March to equip them with advanced pickaxes. Alright,
We out here playing Path while they out here playing Minecraft.
some time has passed and our miners have been able to get the resources back to town. We've also managed to collect some more gold too. We can now upgrade the town and build new structures. There's plenty of options. We just need to decide where to start. I think we'll start with the
I want you to understand. Nope, I'm not gonna say it. It'll put it in your minds.
the beating heart of King's March. It can be upgraded instantly to improve the recruiter's prospects. And you can find various important NPCs relaxing here. Next, we'll upgrade our mining station. You can upgrade this to improve the efficiency of your miners and allocate our newly hired workers to mining. You will eventually need a smelter, where you can send your ore to turn into more valuable bars. Then we have the Disenchanter, where you can bring your magic, rare, or unique items to be added to a queue to be disenchanted over time.
So, what does that do?
The items will be broken down into thaumaturgic dust, a new resource used for crafting and shipping. We'll get more into that later.
Okay.
And of course, a town needs food. You could invest in farming, where you can select crops to grow and harvest. But don't worry, you won't be manually watering anything. Ah, the wonders of delegation.
No Booker, leave the sheep alone. You're not Welsh.
How did you know what I was thinking? We're Irish. We don't do that either. Also, Welsh don't do that. It's
With
true.
all these resources piling up, there will be excess that we can spend. Let's talk about
You're wrong for that.
rewards and settlers of Kalguur.
Very wrong.
Eventually, you can build a harbour and establish shipping routes between a number of different Kalguuran and Karui ports for trade. You'll be able to pile your
Hail.
acquired resources onto these ships and send them to a port of your choice.
All I'm saying is, GGG, please send me a Corsair's back. I'm sorry I missed the stream, okay? I've been tired.
choosing.
No, Connor,
Your
this
traders will haggle
is
for the best deals.
Path 1,
Each
Path
port
Exile
will
1.
return specific rewards
They're having
based
like
on what you send them.
I want to say a build a city event or something.
They accept all types of resources, but will have a preferred type that they'll currently
We
pay
definitely
more
play
for.
in Path 2 when it comes out. Like,
And you'll
I doubt
want
I'm
to
ever going to
onto
get the
this,
early access.
because
Becca.
eventually you could be bringing in shipments like this.
Becca. Becca. I'm not Becca.
This. Or
Hello?
even this.
Hello? 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 That's what my chest looked like on my old character in the last league I played.
Today, we're
I actually
going to
filled it up
trade
pretty
with
good.
Kalguur. You'll notice that as we send more resources, this risk meter creeps up. Much like the dangers on the shores of Wrecklast, there are dangers out at sea. Monsters, pirates, environmental hazards. You'll want to try keep your shipments safe. You can do this by hiring workers that specialize in shipping. The more of them you add to the ship, the less risk there will be. Like this gentleman, who's famous for fending off even the most dangerous of pirates. Now let's get that shipment going, and we'll continue exploring Wrecklast while we wait for its return. This is the first Path of Exile League that
You said
experiments
something
with
about
true,
getting more
real
stuff, Lamau.
Getting more stuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
time mechanics. You can send out shipments, go and have lunch, and come back to your rewards. Many
Oh,
mechanics
cool.
in
It
the
will
league
tell you
work
when
this
it's back.
way,
That's
so
nice.
you'll always have some ongoing.
That's the thing a lot of games online don't do that they should. If you're gonna have a system like this, tell us when it's done, man. I don't want to just have to stay there or forget about it completely. I'm
Project
ADHD,
outcomes to look
man.
forward to. When your shipment has returned, or met its demise, you'll get notified, and at your leisure you can return to the town to collect your rewards. Our shipment returned safely, so let's go see what we got.
Holy crap! How far into the game is this? 52. Okay, so that's like kind of near the end, but that's still a lot of good stuff. Wait, isn't that the super expensive item? One of those two? No, those are good. One of these items right here. Supposed to be like super expensive.
Ooh, they've sent us a unique item alongside our rewards, perhaps hoping to secure us as a loyal customer for the future. Aside from shipping, the Kalguurans are big on their technology. They have hired Isla, a familiar face from the Heist League. She is an engineer who the Kalguurans have employed for a very exciting purpose. You're not the only one who understands how profitable running maps can be. Once at endgame, Isla can help you build a series of Kalguuran modified map devices. You can then put a queue of maps into them. If you've hired a few skilled Atlas runners, they will put themselves to work running those maps for you one after another. Look, more delegation. Once again, you'll be notified when the rewards are ready to be collected. You can put lots of maps in the queue, so don't feel obliged to go back there all the time. Be careful though. The difficulty of the map impacts the risk of your workers perishing.
Wait. Did you just tell me that you're adding a system that'll auto do the maps for you? Am I finally free of chat laughing at me for failing a map?
Best workers, or perhaps just ones you don't like. Consider the difficulty too. Sometimes it's better to just run it yourself. You'll see there are many benefits to having a whole ass town at your fingertips. Let's talk about crafting services. You should definitely consider building a runesmithing table. This is operated by Danig himself, using powerful Kalguuran blacksmithing arts. He can engrave runic magic onto your
I'm not even going to be able to get this stuff until in-game.
weapons using runes. There are many rune types and combinations to choose from, and you can unlock new crafts that can be applied to your weapons as enchantments. Our design intention here is to take powerful effects you would usually only find on unique items, like this modifier, which you might recognize from Doomfletcher's Prism. Danig can apply it to your two-hand maces. There are over 100 different special crafting outcomes, ranging from ones very
I see he has
easily
special
applied
helmet,
to very
glove, and
difficult.
boot.
The rune types can be acquired through trade.
Those
with
are
Kalguur,
rune enchanted, I
or
think.
defeating powerful bosses. The Kalguuran tech benefits don't end there. We're also bringing back a formerly overpowered crowd favorite, Recombination. Isla is trying to master this. She just needs you to help her with getting resources. The system isn't as strong as it used to be, but it still allows you to combine two items together, hoping to get the best modifiers of each onto a single item. Between running a town, shipping, and exploring,
Wait, can you use unique items on that?
you'll be collecting a lot of extra gold.
You unlock some of it as
is
you go.
now
Okay.
the primary resource for two huge new quality of life features that we are putting to test. Firstly, you can use gold to respec passive points. This is a feature from Path of Exile 2 that we've decided just makes sense to port back. The higher level you are, the more expensive it gets. And the next one is absolutely massive. A currency trade market. The Kalguurans have recruited Faustus, another NPC from the Heist League. He allows you to asynchronously buy and sell currency and most other stackable items with other players without the nuisance of, price fixes and people who never respond. All you need to do is select what currency you want, say what you have, and your ideal ratio. It works kinda like a real-life stock market.
Oh, okay. So instead of searching for people or searching for it on the site, you just go to this, say what you want, say what, like, one of the items you have that typically was tradable with it. Okay, yeah. That sounds nice.
Faustus will make the trade happen for you, so long as there is someone selling on the other end for the same rate or less. You'll be able to go back to blasting monsters while trusty Faustus does the dirty work, notifying you when your currency is ready for collection. All you need to do is pay him a small amount of gold for his time. Cards on the table, this is an experiment.
What kind of bow and arrow was that? It looks like they're shooting like tons of poison flasks or something.
to see if this type of asynchronous trading has a place in future Path of Exile releases. We're very excited to see how it goes. Now, given that Faustus is an expert in black market trade and shady deals, he also provides another service, offering items for gold. The items will generate with random rarity, and on average the modifiers on them are better than normal. This can be a very nice way to get some targeted items during the campaign. For serious crafters, it can be a great starting point for making those elusive specific endgame items, which perhaps you could take to the runesmith afterwards. It's worth noting.
Can you get uniques from it? I'm probably gonna get roasted by people saying like uniques are not in game. I like uniques. Shut up.
That you can invite Faustus to your hideout, where he will always be available for respecking, currency exchange, and black market items. As your town grows, it will attract more attention, good and bad. Settlers of Kalguur features 3 endgame bosses that will close in on your operations, wanting a piece of the pie. They might capture and ransom your workers, even your entire ships. You'll have to make some tough decisions. Will you take them on, or pay them off? One example of a boss is Sasan, the Bandit Lord. You won't stumble across this boss by accident. Instead, this unsavory character can come into your town at night and take your Atlas runners hostage, holding them for ransom. What happens next is up to you. Perhaps you'll refuse to negotiate with bandits, leading to a fight to defeat Sasan and rescue your workers. If you're not up for the heroics, you might simply pay the ransom in gold. Or perhaps these workers were especially disappointing, and you'll just leave them for dead in true Ray class fashion. They knew what they were signing up for, right?
That's matingless behavior.
Of course, the heroics might be worth it for other reasons. These bosses can drop new unique items.
New? Trigger a socketed elemental spell on block. Chance to block is lucky? I don't quite understand what lucky is supposed to mean.
In sum, Settlers of Kalguur is a very experimental league, with new mechanics that will completely change how you play the core game. We've been sitting on a lot of these ideas for a while and can't wait to share them with you. But there's a lot more to this expansion. Let's talk about balance. Well,
let me summon a skeletal dragon.
we've finally rebalanced the gladiator. It's been a long time coming.
Or make a dragon
Like
master
before,
class.
there are passive skills that allow you to invest in bleeding,
So that shield was for gladiators, it looks like, because chance to block or spell damage is lucky if you've blocked recently. Lucky things are rolled twice. Okay. Wait, are you trying to tell me gladiator? They're trying to make a dual shield wielding gladiator or something? Okay.
and block. We've designed new skills replacing some of the old ones. Like this, War of Attrition, which is very
Deal 1% damage with hits and ailments to rare or unique markers for each second they've been in your presence, up to a maximum of 100%. So double your damage,
very
basically.
handy for long sustained boss fights. Further alongside
I have a feeling that one's not going to be a build.
The gladiator
Or there's like a bleed build or something that'll use that.
theme, this new passive allows you to combine different weapon types while dual wielding to get a variety of powerful bonuses.
I like the idea of that one. Like the 20% crit chance with daggers or 20% area of effect with maces. Wait, is there like a magic gladiator? No, it says up to a maximum of 100%. LZ.
For example, holding a dagger will give you more critical strike chance, while holding a mace gives you more area of effect. Of course, you could just use Varanastra for all weapon type bonuses. And finally, we have a new notable which allows you to invest in the newly added retaliation skills. These are active skills which require you to meet a certain condition in order to use them. Once you meet that condition, you can unleash devastation on your foes. Here we have Eviscerate, which requires you to have a shield. Or for those who like to dual wield, Sword Storm, which is great for obliterating bosses. Here we have the Divine Retribution skill. This one has the condition requiring you to block. You can then unleash a devastating spell, causing lightning bolts to strike the ground in an X shape around your target location, doing huge amounts of damage. And of course, in true Path of Exile fashion, there are many avenues to invest in these mechanics further.
I like that Eviscerate.
And a new support gem.
But wait, is Eviscerate, do I need to get hit while holding a sword? Because it just said just holding a sword.
We're able to increase the leeway duration after meeting the condition, reduce the cooldowns, or just increase their damage. The world's your oyster.
World's your oyster.
The Gladiator wasn't the only Ascendancy class we've changed. As we develop Path of Exile systems,
that's 100%.
We often find ourselves reusing mechanics,
Doesn't
increasing
say
their depth, and allowing more avenues to
whether
invest
it's
into them.
multiplicative or not, but
As such, the Raider Ascendancy class
so I'm proved otherwise. I'm thinking it's 100%.
Many of its passives commonly available elsewhere. We want our Ascendancy classes to always feel like they're pushing the boundaries, allowing you to change your character in ways that are meaningful and ideally unique. As a result, we've straight up removed the Raider, rest in peace. And we've added a new class in its place, the Warden. This class is largely inspired by its predecessor from the Affliction League, with a few changes. The Warden now focuses on elemental attacks, changing the behavior of Shock, enhancing Freeze, and replacing Ignite with Scorch. There's also a skill that allows you to go ballistic.
I gain unbound very well unbound. Your hits always inflict freeze, shock, and ignite. 80% more elemental damage while unbound. Unbound avatar skill. I don't understand.
With your elemental damage, periodically.
Unbound avatar requires unbound fury. Use and causes you to become unbound for 10 seconds. So I'm guessing there's like a way to keep unbound up all the time or something, maybe? Looks like it's like a storm melee build or something.
The class also grants Barkskin, which is a skill that can be used to mitigate physical damage from hits. After taking a number of hits, it increases your evasion, making it a great defensive choice. Finally, the last thing the Warden can specialize in is tinctures.
Well, there you go, chat. Tinctures are back.
These are an alternative to flasks from the Affliction League. We're bringing them back with adjusted mechanics. Tinctures can be placed in your belt, replacing flasks. You can inherently only have one tincture active at a time, and it requires a melee weapon to use. While activated, they grant a powerful buff. They can drop as magic items, or be modified with currency to grant extra bonuses.
That's not bad.
Here is a prismatic tincture. This one increases elemental damage by 100%.
Path of
while
Boca,
active.
hi, you can.
You'll notice it has two extra effects. One is that it applies mana burn every second. Mana burn is a debuff that builds up while tinctures are active that causes you to lose mana, losing more mana for each stack. Tinctures also have a cooldown, so once you have disabled one, no other tincture can be enabled for a time. These changes make tincture use a more active and interesting choice than it was in Affliction.
Okay.
Both mana burn and the cooldown can be modified through modifiers on the tinctures or on the passive skill tree. Players will want to maximize their tincture uptime for sure. Here we have a couple other tinctures.
I kind of want to
The
go that
Poisonberry tincture is
crazy
excellent for poison
full
builds.
mana build.
The Rose
That was
Thorn
kinda
tincture
cool
is the
looking.
choice for those wanting to deal critical strikes. You might be wondering, with the removal of the Raider, where has the Frenzy Charge investment gone? We've added a Frenzy Charge passive skill to the Deadeye, replacing the Rupture passive skill. On top of Ascendancy classes, we have revisited a number of core mechanics. This time taking pains to ensure easy access through the passive tree, skill gems, and simple items. We don't want all the powerful mechanics to be hidden behind layers of complexity. Let's just rapid fire through the key points. If you want more detail later, you can read the patch notes, which will be dropped after the livestream. Be sure to let us know what you think. There's a lot of changes, so be prepared for a bit of a shock to the...
I will say this. The only, if anyone wants me to play, because apparently Diablo 4 is getting an update, and I saw the new character. New character looks really fun. Has a giant thingy and stuff. We'll try it, but I'm not buying the game myself. I already bought it once.
system. I expect it will take
Also, it needs to be on Steam, because I'm not going to Blizzard.
several days for the dust to settle on this one. Firstly, we've made some drastic alterations to melee skills. Let me just rip this band-aid off. Melee totem skill gems have been removed.
Well, rip those people then.
We're trying to adopt a philosophy with melee going forward that, unlike other builds, it will be far less oriented around set and forget gameplay. You will deal the damage yourself, and you should be rewarded for doing so. To compensate, we have buffed the damage on almost every single melee skill.
That makes me want to play melee.
As the majority of this damage growth comes from gem levels, we have also made them cost more mana as they level, but it's nothing like the mana costs on spells.
Okay.
Here are some examples of the damage and costs before and after. Heavy Strike has gone from dealing 313% attack damage at gem level 20 to a massive 552% attack damage. It's also worth noting it no longer knocks enemies back.
I see that they made it... You can basically use every weapon. It looks like now. Because it doesn't just say or two-handed weapon. It says mace, scepter, axe, sword, or staff. Which I'm guessing means you can use two-handed.
And Sweep has gone from dealing 281.
Well, this one has to be two-handed, it looks like. Holy crap! That's a huge increase. People about to go a sweet build. Went from 281 to 664.
percent attack damage to now
No, this
dealing
is a new
664%
league. You can.
attack damage
This is
at gem
all.
level
This is
20.
just pure update.
These are just 2 examples, but the majority of melee skills are now dealing approximately 75% more damage at level 20.
Yeah, that's a sweet build right there.
With melee comes close proximity combat, so you need some good defensive options. New base types with higher defensive values will now drop throughout the endgame. As you reach yellow, red, and purple maps, you can expect to find higher tier base types in each.
Right.
For
Full
example,
fleet!
Valor
Yes,
and
chat.
Hubris
Full
Circlet are
fleet.
no longer the best in slot items for Energy Shield. There are new base types that surpass them. Combined with some quality changes, which we'll talk about soon, you can now get better items than ever before in these slots.
I like
To
that Sin's
compensate,
right
we have
there.
reduced the amount of flat evasion and armor from the Grace and Determination auras. But overall,
Oh my
you're
gosh, he
getting
moves
more
around a lot.
defenses than
He's
before.
looking at me! Don't do that. Scary.
On top of this, we have buff life modifiers on magic and rare equipment. You can now get as high as 189 additional maximum life from a single modifier on body armors, and more on other
That's
slots
pretty good.
too. Kaum's Heart has also finally been restored to its former glory and once again grants plus 1000 to maximum life. I mentioned quality. Quality on weapons and armors is being changed to apply multiplicatively. In other words, weapons with full quality will give 20% more physical damage, and armor with full quality will have 20% more local defenses. For melee, this will mean a damage increase for almost all builds using physical damage attacks, and it will mean more evasion, armor, energy shield, and ward for all builds. Endurance charges no longer grant elemental resistances, but instead grant additional elemental damage reduction, making it multiplicative with resistances. You can now get 4% per charge, alongside the existing 4% physical damage reduction. To compensate, we have made some changes to the Juggernaut, and various unique items like Eternal Damnation. You can get more maximum resistances from the tree, specifically around the Marauder class start. These of course can stack with the new elemental mitigation from endurance charges. On top of this, duels can now roll maximum elemental resistances as modifiers.
Well, that's nice.
Since we're making elemental mitigation more accessible, we've heavily reduced accessibility to physical damage taken as chaos or elemental damage. Those stats are still around, but you should not expect to be getting full conversion anymore. All block passives have been buffed, so you can now more easily achieve block cap from just the passive tree. The Keystone Versatile Combatant has been improved to have less of a penalty to maximum block. A number of Life Leech passives have been buffed to generally allow for more acquisition of maximum leech rate for life.
Okay.
Vow Pact has been reinstated to its former glory for instant Life Leech, but only for melee.
Okay.
We've reworked Flesh and Stone. Previously, this buff skill granted Maim and Blind, depending on the stance of our character. Now, while in Sand stance, the skill simply provides damage mitigation, becoming more effective the closer you are to enemies. While in Blood stance, enemies will take more physical damage the closer you are to them. This skill will now greatly favor melee or close range gameplay. Given we're doing a Kalguuran League, Ward has also
That was the spell I was toying around with near the end.
received a bit of attention. There are new uniques that grant Ward, and the base restoration of Ward is now faster. To compensate, Olroth's Resolve has been nerfed, but Ward loop builds will still be possible. Anyway, that was most of the purely defensive changes. Now let's look at some of the offensive and utility-based ones.
Right.
There are more and better ways to deal with mana as an attacker on the southern hemisphere of the passive tree. Wands, daggers, scepters, claws, and staves now have higher critical strike chance values than ever.
Okay.
Wands can go as high as 10% without modifiers. Sandstorm Visage has been made rarer to compensate, instead of reducing its power. For you wand attackers, wands now have higher attack speed than ever to compensate for their low damage. Wand exclusive skills such as Power Siphon, Kinetic Bolt, and Kinetic Blast now have faster attack times.
Okay.
Impale passives have been revised and in general buffed. The buffs granted by Warcries are now simpler but more significant, and more universal to builds. They also now apply to allies by default. Banners have been reworked. Instead of having a reservation cost, they are now free. However, they don't grant a permanent buff. Banners now need to be placed for the effect to be active. However, once placed, they are far more powerful than before. Additionally, there are new ways to prolong the effects and more ways to invest in them than ever before. Rage has been made more fundamental and discoverable. Rage is now multiplicative attack damage, but no longer inherently grants attack speed or movement speed.
Okay.
It has a new cap, and you can find many new passive clusters that allow you to invest into the mechanic.
Alright.
The goal is to make Rage more powerful as a baseline, and less gated behind the use of specific unique items and ascendancy
Yeah, that's what I was noticing before. It looked like there was very little ways to really go rage.
classes. Berserk has been nerfed, just so you're aware. We have changed how bleed works too. You can now find aggravated bleed on the passive tree. When applied, all bleeds on the enemy will deal damage as if the enemy is moving, for the remainder of their duration. The skill Ensnaring Arrow no longer interacts with bleed, so no more will you have to apply bleeds and swap to a bow. You can now achieve the same result using aggravated bleed passives without the annoyance. Rupture from the Deadeye has been turned into a support gem. We've added the new Overexertion support gem, which highly favors slam build.
Is that what we're gonna go, a sweep and Earthquake build? Because Earthquake's still a slam, right? If I remember correctly?
Now, it's time to look at a hot topic, Magic Find. In the Settlers of Kalguur expansion, we are going to be removing item quantity bonuses from all character
Don't do that.
items. This will not affect existing items in standard leagues. Magic Find is intended to be another axis on your gear you can scale once you have achieved the power you want. With item quantity being only available on unique items, this meant if you wanted to get the most out of it, you had to be playing a very specific build. We still want people to be able to invest into Magic Find, but now only through item rarity. This can be obtained on a number of rare item slots, and by a much larger number of builds.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
What about Ventor's Gamble, you might ask? Here it is now.
I kind of like that, where you're increasing the rarity of stuff now.
This is one of the biggest balance patches we've ever done. I can't promise that existing builds will all be safe. Even we aren't able to predict all the outcomes here, nor have we even gone into every single change, just the major ones. I don't know, man. Balance is hard. But the sheer number of new, viable options is exciting, especially for melee. And we're determined to drag the game in a better direction. Be sure to read the patch notes after this. It's going to be a ruckus.
Oh no, Wakon doesn't have their coffee
In
emote!
3.24, we overhauled the in-game experience by introducing a new tier of maps and reworking scarabs.
You
We
can
want
out
to
here being
continue to
mean.
improve these systems and introduce more exciting in-game content every league. 3.25 is no exception. Let's check out the myriad of changes coming in Settlers of Kalguur. First up, we are changing many scarabs. We won't go into too much detail here to avoid getting lost in the weeds, but here's a few new ones. Be sure to check out the patch notes after this for more detail. We've also added an additional map device slot, which will be unlocked upon completing your first 10-way Maven encounter. This simply allows for more combinations of scarabs and maps, resulting in more difficulty and more rewards. This is on top of the existing additional slot
That's
that
pretty
can be
cool.
unlocked by completing your first Tier 17 map. There are now 6 map device slots in total. You might have seen our teaser, where we revealed we'll be adding new special encounters to the endgame. One such encounter is the Nameless Seer, lurking in Tier 16 and 17 maps. This NPC will give you a selection of unique items, and you can pick one for free. In Tier 16 maps, he now has an additional feature, where you can scry a map. This allows you to swap the divination card drops of the current map with another map on your atlas. Just one caveat, you cannot have the same map be in multiple swaps at the same time. If you want to undo your choice, you can use a scouring orb on either map on your atlas. We've also made some updates to a couple of leagues. Blight has been updated with some atlas passive skill changes, and double anointed amulets can now drop in Blight Ravaged maps. We've also introduced a new type of oil that can only drop from Blighted and Blight Ravaged maps. Ritual has also been updated. You can now find one new and many reworked base types, new unique items, corpses you can use to raise a spec.
The frick is this? How do we get that permanent? Is it... Wait, is that... Does that make that permanent? I don't understand. Because I will go... I'll go spirits! I'll go spirits! Skeletal spirits!
And occasionally a fragment, granting access to the King in the Mist's boss fight from the Affliction League. He will drop a number of unique items that were familiar from the League, but not that which was taken, as it is now that which was taken away. However, he now drops a different modular jewel that you might recognize from the Necropolis League. In Tier 16 and Tier 17 maps, you can now encounter the Wildwood, also from the Affliction League.
Also, they added the... That's nice.
In case you missed it, the Wildwood is a mysterious forest fraught with danger. In the darkness, you will find magical wisps yearning for freedom. Upon releasing them, they will empower the monsters in your map, promising more danger but more rewards. You may also find random sentinels on the ground near the start of your maps, from the Sentinel League. They work in a similar way to before. They aren't items, but you can click on them and then they can be activated in that area at any time of your choosing. Upon activation, they will buff monsters around you, increasing their difficulty and rewards. And here's one for those who like to live dangerously.
Nice.
You may occasionally find a reflective mist from the Kalandra League. It has two outcomes. It could drop a jewelry item with randomly enhanced or inverted modifier values, or it can give a reflecting mist item, which can be used on an existing piece of jewelry to perform the same action at a time of your choosing. Good luck!
Okay.
There's many other small changes to League content. We're removing the first 15 most boring waves of the simulacrum and rebalancing its rewards to improve the chances of finding unique jewels.
I like that. I like that.
We're also adding some of the beasts from Einhar's Memory of Harvest Beasts to the core pool. This includes the Black Morrigan. In other news, we've added a
Well, that makes it easier to get those monsters. That's nice.
set of new chisel types, which can be applied to your maps to get different bonuses. While the Cartographer's Chisel still increases item quantity, there are new ones that now increase rarity, pack size, increased chance for currency items, divination cards, and scarabs. It's also worth
Hi,
mentioning that
Jesse.
chisels now
Hope you're having a
apply
good
20%
day.
quality per chisel to white maps, 10% to yellow maps, and 5% to red maps and higher. Unique maps still require the full 20 chisels. Also, only one type of chisel can be applied to a map at a time.
Oh.
During 3.24,
The past
we made a
stream?
change
Well,
to
we're
tier
mostly
17
we're
maps
reacting.
that allowed them to be rerolled with Chaos Orbs.
It's going well.
We are now expanding the currency types that can be used
We'll
on
probably
them
be
to
playing the
also
new
include
league.
currencies like chisels and Val Orbs. Ultimately, the only restriction tier 17 maps now have is that explicit modifiers cannot be removed from them. We have also revised the difficulty of these maps, as they didn't quite hit the mark. The monsters in them now have substantially less life, and deal less damage, meaning tier 17 maps now better fit into the progression between Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content. Lastly, we've adjusted the drop rate of Valdo's puzzle boxes. Previously, we were adapting its drop rate based on the possible outcomes selected by supporters. So many supporters really wanted Mage Bloods, so the box was hardly dropping. Thus, we have drastically increased the drop rate of the box, but reduced the probability of getting chase unique items from it, like Mage Blood. Overall, we have taken care not to reduce the number of Mage Bloods total in the economy. We figured it was better to have more tickets for fun, rather than barely seeing any boxes in a league. We've been hard at work improving the Path of Exile experience on consoles,
Well, that's nice.
with want to focus on resolution, image quality, or target frame rate.
That's nice. Not on console.
Like we've seen in our teasers, there's a slew of quality of life features we've been working on.
Okay, let's look at these.
Here's a quick summary. You'll no longer need to interact with waypoints to unlock them. You can just walk by and they'll activate
Oh,
automatically.
thank you.
When using keyboard and mouse, you'll be able to pick up items from further away. We're adding static life bars to some bosses.
That's wonderful.
Not all bosses will have them just yet, but we'll be adding more over time.
Eh?
You can now see which divination cards drop in each map by hovering over them on your atlas. When you die, you can now
Yay!
resurrect without having to reactivate all your reservation effects, like auras and heralds.
Well, that's fun,
You can
Jesse.
start harvest encounters with just a single action. The amount of quality provided by currency items like whetstones is now based on the item level, rather than item rarity. Those currencies now apply a 20% quality to very low level items, with that amount reducing as the item level increases. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching two new series of supporter packs, the Paladin and Penance packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Settlers of Kalguur League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic, and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Paladin series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Adorn your weapon or shield with the Paladin weapon effect.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Make a show of leveling up with the Harpy Flyover level up effect.
That's silly.
Equipping the Divine Paladin armor set will periodically cause slain enemies to be consecrated and laid to rest. This set also comes with a matching back attachment. Both the helmet and back attachment have options to display the radiant glow, or not, you pick. The Divine Judgment finisher effect locks onto unique enemies before obliterating them with a laser from the heavens. May your critical hits resonate across Rayclast with the Cleric's Bell back attachment.
It's the bell.
Invite your friends to spend a day at the races in the Vasteri Racecourse hideout. Add rowers to the track to race them against each other. Or you can just spectate from the sidelines.
Okay.
The Penance Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Penance back attachment equipped, a repentant soul is chained to your back and lashed with lightning. Ouch. Place none other than the Trial Master in your hideout and have him comment on your chaos
A classic, but far fairer now than in ancient times.
and Val crafting attempts.
Your luck is over, fool.
He even keeps a record of how many Chaos and Varlorbs you've used in your hideout during the league, or across all leagues.
That's cool.
Blood stains your armor the more life you lose when wearing the Acolyte's Penance armor set.
Oh, that's really cool.
The Zealot's Madness portal effect fragments as you near it. The Cauldron map device boils maps, fragments, and scarabs placed into it, keeping a tally of how many have been thrown into the pot in the current league or across all leagues. The Exiled Squire pets follow in your footsteps, hyping you up for battles,
No sweat for you, boss.
providing pessimistic commentary,
Chat. Chat, I want it. Chat.
or voicing their disdain for you to bring you down a peg.
About time you kicked the bucket.
It's
These packs
chat!
are now available for purchase on both
It's
PC
chat.
and
Guys,
console,
guys. We can have you in the game now.
and will remain so during Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalguur. Meanwhile, the Solar and Eldritch packs leave the store forever at the launch of Settlers of Kalguur League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Now, we have one more thing to announce before getting into the
One more
Q&A.
thing. One more thing.
We are soon going to be running a small closed beta test for Path of Exile 2. We have been taking signups for the Path of Exile 2 beta tests over at pathofexile2.com. We will only be selecting a very limited number of people for this first test, but if you want to make sure that you are considered, then head over to the website and register your email
There ain't
address
no
now.
way I make it though.
Let's just do NA West 30.
Alright, let's see what else we're reacting to here.